You all know what Rick and Morty is. You may know it from this,
I'm Pickle Rick!
or this,
I'm cranky 90s Morty!
or this.
We're gonna go to Bendigo, Morty!
Or maybe you know it as the show that made this channel spontaneously combust with subscribers. I'm one of the losers that only watched the show because of how popular it was right around before season 3 arrived. I decided to make this video because I know the only thing people want is more Rick and Morty content, and I fucking hate making the Rick and Morty but only blah 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 videos. I settled on making a review video similar to the most personal video I ever made, which is why I love Adventure Time, but about Rick and Morty. So sit back, grab some popcorn, a Coke, and subscribe.
Old man, trouble back again, fucking up my plans like, oh no, I'm back to the black again, getting fucked up again, oh no, old man, trouble back again, thought I had the upper hand, oh no, I'm back to the black again, getting fucked up again, oh no.
I love Rick and Morty. I love Rick and Morty because of how sick and unforgiving the creators are to the characters. How they can do stuff like this.
I'm so sorry.
You.
Or this. And it doesn't feel out of nowhere or unnatural. I love Rick and Morty because of how the earlier seasons' humor had an unpredictable range that can be enjoyed by many types of people. I love Rick and Morty because it's allowed to be weird and unique, since it takes advantage of Adult Swim's lack of limitations. Rick and Morty is a great show. It's nowhere near the quality of Adventure Time, but it's still a very good show. Season 1 and 2 are probably my favorite, as the series hasn't really found its place in the world yet, and the characters are pretty much blank slates for the creators to write all over and do what they want with. Rick burps every 3 seconds, takes a minute to finish a sentence, and ends every statement with Morty. Luckily, Morty is a perfect one-dimensional, horny, nervous, and stupid 14-year-old for Rick to bounce crystal dialogue off of. The two of them are perfectly imperfect together, and it's great. Beth, Jerry, and Summer are fun to watch too. Beth is an unstable mother and wife that works well with Jerry's awesome uselessness. And Summer is a stereotypical wannabe popular teenage girl that's almost always on her phone and never seems to care about what's happening unless it has to do with her or her interests. So you might be wondering, why do I, Ela Sealard, have a love/hate relationship with Rick and Morty and not just a love relationship with Rick and Morty? It seems to have funny characters, wacky and random plots, and a nice carefree overall flow to it, with random dark philosophical junk sprinkled throughout it, while managing to keep the carefree flow. And I've gained about 750 subscribers from edits of Rick burping and like 2 from Morty stuttering. Well, my answer leads me to the next part of the video. I really feel like DC films are catching up to Marvel movies at an alarming rate. With Joker, Birds of Prey, the new Batman, and especially with the Suicide Squad, Warner Bros. Is really letting directors do whatever the fuck they want, and look how amazing that's turning out. The problem with Marvel is how they're too scared to take chances. Every Marvel movie is a PG-13 action-adventure comedy with a hint of drama and a shit ton of CGI and green screen. If Marvel doesn't start taking chances anytime soon, DC films might become a lot more people's favorites pretty soon. I hate Rick and Morty. I hate Rick and Morty because of the lack of mystery in Rick's past and his mind in the newer episodes. I hate Rick and Morty because of its desperate attempts to becoming something that it'll hopefully never be. I hate Rick and Morty because of the non-existent sense of tensity in any scene with Rick in it. But I mostly hate Rick and Morty because of 2 words. Pickle Rick.
Is this the first part of some kind of magic trick? I don't do magic, Morty. I do science. One takes brains, the other takes dark eyeliner. Shut the fuck up!
This might sound dramatic, but Pickle Rick seems to be the source of most of my problems with Rick and Morty. Pickle Rick was a fun idea at first, a blatantly simple idea fueled by an average story that would normally work well, and it did. But then this happened. Before I talk about this, I just want to say that most of the show's cons started when Season 3 started, but I think Pickle Rick just kind of shoved it forward, convincing the creators that they were making the show better. Now, the Pickle Rick meme blowing up may be a good thing in terms of introducing new people to the show, or the crew working on the show finally getting paid for all their hard work. But you have to remember that Adult Swim has never had a show this popular before, and didn't really know what to do, so they did what most shows don't do. They changed the series to fit what they thought the viewers liked about it most. And this isn't because of Pickle Rick, but the show's changes were definitely encouraged by that infamous episode. Now obviously the whole smartest man in the universe bullshit is ridiculous, and I really hate how fucking unstoppable Rick is in literally any scene. Whenever he's in any danger, he just turns his hand into a gun or shoots lava spikes out of his dick. The show even acknowledges the absurdity of this in the season 5 finale, which I will definitely talk about eventually.
Okay, Morty, remember when I said all I need was your apology and a screwdriver in my hand? Well, I forgot I literally have a screwdriver in my hand. I mean, Dadoy, I'm basically Inspector Gadget.
And we even see that Rick dying is no threat because his consciousness just gets transferred into a clone of him from another universe. So now there's no sense of tension. We know Rick is unstoppable, and we get constantly reminded that nothing matters by Rick. Now I get that Rick is supposed to be the scientist that's depressed because he doesn't see a point in doing anything, since he's literally too smart to not see the big picture, which is that nothing anyone does matters. But wouldn't it be better to slowly let the show hint at that and continue to build on this idea? Or even just watch Game Theory uncover it for us? Well, too fucking bad, because guess what else gets ruined in the Pickle Rick episode?
That all changed when Pickle Rick had Susan Sarandon literally explain to the audience how they're supposed to interpret the show. There was nothing metaphorical or nuanced about it, just a regular human therapist on regular old Earth telling the audience how they should feel. I understand that the writers were trying something new, but this scene just came off as cheap. After this moment, much of the open-ended mystique of Rick's character was extinguished, and the series became less compelling as a result.
That clip was from a video by Emp Lemon that you should also go check out. The link is in the description. One more thing, Rick's dialogue used to be this sloppy drunk guy trying to get words out with his mouth while trying to get booze in his mouth. But now whenever he's talking, he just references something that he shouldn't have any knowledge or give a shit about. He speaks faster than fucking Eminem in order to get the references out as fast as poor Justin Roiland will let him. And absolutely none of these stale pop culture references are close to being funny. If you find the new Rick funny, I don't know what's wrong with you. Most of the show's humor comes from other characters now, if not Morty, Jerry, or Beth. Ugh. I'm sure you're all sick and tired of me talking about Rickle Rick, Pickle Rick, and the boringly unfunny smartest man in the universe. So I'm just gonna unnaturally transition into the next part. I just came in contact with an awesome looking Spider-Man film called Spider-Man Lotus. It seems to be a drama film heavily built around Peter trying to deal with the death of Gwen Stacy. Now I'm not much for drama, but since nothing this bold has been done with Spider-Man in a while, I'm excited as fuck. Also, the suit might just be the best live action Spider-Man suit ever put on screen. And it's a goddamn fan film. It's alright. I mean, they usually only showed lore stuff in the beginning or end of seasons. I think the whole evil Morty stuff is pretty cool, and I loved how many different ways the show could have taken it. The whole bird person junk wasn't really my cup of tea. And by the time season 5 episode 8 happened, I'd completely forgotten about all the Phoenix person junk from all the penis... all the Phoenix person junk from the season 4 finale. There really isn't much to say about the lore. It's fun, except for when it isn't. I'm so glad the new Guardians of the Galaxy game is doing super good. I could see how much heart was put into it just by looking at the new character designs. A lot of people are pissed that they don't look like they do in the movies, and the reason for that is because the creators wanted to recreate the Guardians the way they felt was best, and I'm glad everyone is happy with the result. Season 4 and 5 to me are very similar. They're both the aftermath of Season 3 and just straight up mixed bags for everyone. Season 4 had some goods and some bads. None of them really stood out to me for being shit or gold. Season 5, on the other hand, is pretty much Season 4 but cranked up to 10. It had way worse lows, but way better highs. Season 5 did have my personal favorite episode out of the entire show, a Rick Convenient Mort, which I'll talk about in a sec, but also had these flaming bags of shit sticks that I slept through and still groan whenever I see. Just the plot and the whole events that take place during Mortyplicity and Rick Dependent Spray are so boring and dragged on beyond human capacity. The creators were obviously ridiculing the idea of making an entire episode of Rick and Morty clones. I'm not giving them the satisfaction of calling them decoys, killing other Rick and Morty clones, while still doing the whole dumb clone schmuck. That is not called having smart or meta humor. That is called being a hypocrite. 2022 is going to be the best year for movies. We start off with Spider-Man No Way Home, then we get Morbius, Spider-Verse 2, Uncharted, Thor 4, Doctor Strange 2, Black Panther 2, The Batman, Avatar 2, Black Adam, John fucking Wick 4, and Knives Out 2. 8 of the 12 that I listed are sequels, but to good movies, so I'm not worried. Not nearly enough people are talking about the satisfying, superior, sterling, and stupendous substance of a super sound, splendid situation that is a Rick Convenient Mort. The music is a deluxe wonder, and manages to capture and enchant the feeling of any scene perfectly. The relationship between Morty and Planetina is believable and sweet to watch. You want them to be together. You want them to figure out their issues and be happy with each other. And so you were heartstruck when they broke up and both cried away into the darkness. This is one of the only times you can actually see Beth be a mother. When she denies Morty's request of letting Planetina live with them, or when she comforts Morty, who just had to tell someone that he loved and was loved by that they couldn't see each other anymore. That their ideas of doing the right thing are different, and neither of them could be happy together ever again. And that's where the episode ends! It just fucking ends there! With a flower portrait of Morty silently withering away along with the broken heart of a young boy who just wants to do the right thing. It's brutal! It's refreshing, and I love it. I get so tired of the same boring happy endings in movies, shows, and even video games. When you know the hero is gonna win, the only reason to stick around till the end is to see how they do it. That's why I love when films end horribly, because there are so many more creative ways for the heroes to lose than to win, because it will actually surprise people, be an actual plot twist, because it better reflects on real life. In life, you don't always win. In fact, you mostly lose. And when you see someone up on a big or small screen that wins over and over, it's boring. It's frustrating, it's unrealistic, it's unfair. Why can't you win all the time like the colorfully clothed Caped Crusader on the big screen? You can't, not always. But that's how you grow as a person, learn from your mistakes, blah blah blah. My only complaint is how after that episode, Morty just acts normal and like nothing happens. I really wish they let this traumatic event affect even a tiny part of future episodes, but it's not too big of a problem. The point is that this episode is really good and I like it a lot. When is the new Five Nights at Freddy's coming out? I mean, that thing has been delayed so many times I genuinely have no clue what happened to it. I just want to get this out of the way first. I enjoyed the season 5 finale. I thought it was very good, but I have the strangest feeling I won't spend as much time on the pros than I will on the cons. I'm gonna start the part with this statement. I find Morty an incredibly more interesting character than Rick. I know that statement might confuse a lot of you fart smellers, but I'm sure the smart fellers can catch my Cheeto dust covered drift here. Rick was a flawed scientist. He's not anymore. Now he's an unstoppable godly force that references Reddit, politics, and doesn't fucking burp. I've already talked about why a flawed scientist is more fascinating than a god. You know I fully prefer Rick in the first 2 seasons, and with Rick's mysterious backstory now as apparent as goddamn Pickle Rick, we just have Morty. Morty is supposed to be this lazy, obedient, stupid, selfish, horny, hesitant 14-year-old that we originally used as someone to react to the absurd situations like a normal 14-year-old would. But he's grown and matured into a selfless hero that stands up for himself and tries to do the right thing where he can. I don't know why, but people seem to focus more on the bad parts of Morty's character, even going as far as to say that he might end up turning into a Rick. And I find that laughable. Yes, Rick had a hero phase and still turned out the way he did. But do you know what sent him down that spiral of being a self-aware, careless curse that drifts through the universe without purpose? His power. More specifically, his access to other dimensions and planets. Not only did Morty have full access to them in episode 9, but he had full access to them without Rick or anyone around to judge him. He could have done anything he wanted, gone anywhere he felt. But instead of that, he humbly traveled from planet to planet, cleaning Rick's destructive shit stain, even with the knowledge that nothing he does matters and that the same thing is happening in infinite other dimensions. He chooses to do the right thing. That's why I find Morty more interesting than Rick. And Morty's selflessness hasn't started in episode 9. He's been doing it for a while now. Episode 9 just helped me open my eyes and realize how fascinating Morty is. Also, I know someone's gonna say that the reason he's so kind-hearted is because he's a dipshit, and Rick being a mega ultra motherfucker genius is why he's an ass. And to that I say, yeah, maybe. But Rick could easily craft a machine that makes Morty just as smart as him. Hell, I like to imagine that Rick's tried that multiple times. But Morty's personality includes his stupidity and lack of knowledge. Plus, would you prefer Morty to be just as smart as Rick for the rest of the series? Yeah, I didn't think so. Anyway, that's all that really happened in episode 9. Them breaking up was cool to watch because you would expect it to be out of anger, having enough of one another. But instead it was Rick having a sudden realization of how unhealthy their relationship is and sensibly leaving with a pair of crows. The crows. Ugh. First of all, I'd like to say that I trust the writers actually spun this wheel and would have to use whichever one it landed on as a story arc for Rick. But yeah, I don't really care for the crow stuff. It was a funny idea and amusing for the first little while of episode 9, but it was stretched out for too long and you knew it wouldn't last more than episode 10 because Morty and Rick had to get together eventually for the show to continue. I really hated the anime intro at the beginning, and not only because I hate anime, but because it ruined the tradition of playing the almost exact same intro at the start of every episode for a meaningless and weightless gag. Whatever. The use of Evil Morty was alright in the last episode. My only issue is why the hell does he have to kill Rick C-137 in order to breach the central finite curve? But besides that huge plot hole, I really like the confusing inventive and original evil plan. It makes sense, and it would seem like something a Morty that's tired of Rick's being in every square inch of the fucking multiverse would attempt to do that after finding out there's a whole other multiverse where Rick isn't the smartest man in any universe. I'm glad the last few episodes of season 5 kind of extinguished all the ongoing aspects of the show, even going as far as shoving Jessica out of the series. It's fair to do this at the halfway point of the entire show, and doesn't make it feel out of nowhere or unnatural. It also sets up the writers' plans to hopefully start new plotlines that span over future seasons. So in conclusion, new Rick is bad, old Rick is good, Pickle Rick is bad, Morty is good, Planetina episode is good, Pickle Rick is bad, subscribe button is good.
Here we go, bitch! Oh.
Son, have you fallen in with a weird stranger and are now trashing your grandpa's place? 'Cause I'll help.
Dad?